Chapter 13. A Cat Named Boo. I spent the night on my new-found friend's bed. She was absolutely delightful. Of course I made certain to purr and get pets before finding a perfect spot at her feet for the night. The fact was not lost on me that this girl named Cat was the only reason I was still in the house. How serendipitous! A girl named Cat owning a cat. I nearly chuckled at the thought. The mother, Violet, liked cats well enough, but didn't feel the need to keep me. Now that the man named Carl had abandoned me, I needed this new home. I had no desire to end up in a shelter with barking dogs and yowling cats. One cat was quite enough, thank you. There was no need for any further pets beyond myself. I stretched in the morning, cracking open an eye and looking at Cat. She had named me Boo, as I recalled. What a silly, childish name. A black cat named Boo in the spirit of Halloween. However, I could hardly complain when it meant a nice home, food, and pets. I supposed I would have to try to remember it and come when she called. Well, sometimes. An alarm went off, and Cat sleepily hid it before wiping her eyes with her fingers. What I could do if I only had fingers, I thought to myself a little enviously. Then again, I could do much more with my claws. I gave a soft meow to remind the girl I was still here. "Shh!" whispered Cat. She gave me a pet, then turned on a soft light and threw off the covers. Tiptoeing, she grabbed some clothes. It wasn't even light out yet. What was the girl up to? I watched curiously as Cat quickly dressed. It was obvious she didn't want to wake her mother. For a moment I toyed with the idea of sabotaging her. She was young, but soon enough would go off to college, leaving me behind with the mother. I would need to be in Violet's good graces if I expected to stay. However, snitching on Cat so soon might make her change her affections for me, and I needed her goodwill to remain at their home. A dilemma. Cat shut off the light and carefully opened her door, slipping out of the room. I chose to stay silent and padded after her into the hallway. I was not about to be left behind. All cats love secrets, and I was determined to find out what this was about. Watching Cat grab a key off a keyring, then slipping on her shoes at the back door, I calmly waited, my eyes narrowing. I was going to have to time this exactly. It was a good thing it was getting dark. Cat would be less likely to see me. She unlocked the door and slipped out into the early morning. With impeccable timing, I crept out with her, barely managing to make it through before the door softly closed behind her. I hoped Cat wasn't going far, or on her bicycle. It was probably folly to have come out of the safety of the house. However, she was now mine, and I was now hers, so I was intent upon following her. She walked briskly to the bottom of the stairs to the upstairs apartments. Slowly making her way up, Cat tried not to have the stairs creak under her slight weight. What was she up to? She couldn't possibly be visiting the older woman, Greta. Greta only got up when the sun was shining. I heard her bustling around her apartment each morning, getting her tea and toast with jam, before going to the balcony to watch the sun and read the newspaper. I liked Greta. If I hadn't been adopted by Cat, she would have been a good choice to live with, were she agreeable to the idea. If she wasn't going to Greta, it was likely she was going to Carl's apartment. My ears perked up. Was she going to fetch my food and litter box? The one Violet had given me was okay as a temporary measure, but I much preferred my own. Using the key, Cat opened Carl's door. Again I performed the maneuver of slipping in, as Cat ducked under the crime scene tape and entered the apartment. She locked it behind her and flicked on the light. I blinked trying to adjust to the sudden brightness. While I was doing so, Cat moved forward and nearly tripped over me.
"Boo, what are you doing here?"
Wondering the same about you, I thought, as she scooped me up, petting and clucking over me.
"Are you okay? I didn't mean to bump into you,"
softly said Cat. Of course she didn't. She hadn't known I was here. I rubbed my head against her, all forgiveness. Cat held me as she took a slow tour of the apartment. I meowed as I spotted my favorite tins of food, but she simply shut the cupboard on them. How disappointing. There was a soft knock on the door. I was unceremoniously dumped to the floor. My tail twitched in annoyance.
"Come in,"
whispered Cat, letting in a teenage boy. I didn't know him, but I wasn't a fan. I had no desire for any competition for Cat's affections. The last thing I wanted was for her to forget all about me for a boy. Sniffing, I narrowed my eyes, looking him over. He was taller than Cat by a few inches. He still had that awkward, growing into his limbs look, but had the promise of being quite handsome if it weren't for the pair of glasses on his head. Glasses. What a human invention. They were dark-rimmed, like his hair was dark. His eyes were hard to see behind the lenses, but I thought they might be blue. "Have you found anything?" he softly asked.
"I've only just started looking," replied Cat.
Looking? I perked up. Looking for what? I knew exactly where everything was in this apartment. She had only to ask me, and I could lead her to whatever it was she was trying to find. "Hey, there's a cat here." The boy stooped down to give me a pet, which I reluctantly accepted. "Sweet. Do you know his name?"
"His name is Boo," Cat informed him. "He's mine. My mom got him for my birthday."
"Cool. I wish I had a cat," he said. Maybe he wasn't so bad, I decided, giving a purr.
"My mom will be waking up in about an hour," interrupted Cat. "I don't want to get in more trouble after yesterday's run-in with the police."
"My dad just about took me off the track team," sighed the teen as he straightened up. "If I didn't need a scholarship for college, I think he would have. As it is, I have a long list of chores to do now."
"Then we better not get caught," whispered Cat.
The two of them prowled around the small apartment, looking through everything as thoroughly as two teens could, which was actually pretty impressive, I thought. I followed each of them in turn, curious as to what they might be searching for.
"Bryden, did you see this?"
Cat wondered at the neatly spaced cans of food in the cupboard. I could have told her Carl was OCD neat. He brushed me twice daily and vacuumed the hair out of the brush. Sometimes I wondered if he might vacuum me. I shuddered at the thought. "He's a bit creepy, your tenant," mentioned Bryden. "His clothes are color-coded."
"Mom and I called him Quiet Carl," revealed Cat. "I think I only met him once."
What were they looking for? I wound myself around Bryden's legs, and he absent-mindedly stooped to scratch behind my ears as he looked through the closet. "You wouldn't happen to know where Carl's computer went, would you, Boo?" I straightened. Carl's computer? That was easy. I knew exactly where it was. Carl always put the laptop in the same place every time he left the apartment. I could have laughed. "I suppose it was too much to ask," sighed Braden as he straightened up. He shut the closet door. Twitching my tail in complete satisfaction, I turned and headed to the living room. I scratched my nails in a particular section of the carpet. I was going to be the hero of the day, I thought smugly.
"We should get going," mentioned Cat.
Her shoulders slumped.
"Mom will be getting up soon, and you need to get home before your parents find you gone."
"Yeah, I guess so," agreed Bryden with a grimace. "I'm sorry we didn't find anything useful." I pulled at the carpet, batting it with one paw as I hooked my nails with the other. Narrowing my eyes, I concentrated as hard as I could. Tearing the piece of carpet was not as easy as it looked.
"Boo, we need to go," said Cat.
She came towards me. "What is he doing?" wondered Bryden.
"Boo, stop tearing the carpet,"
scolded Cat as she crouched beside me, ready to pick me up.
"Mom will be unhappy if she has to replace the whole carpet because you tore up one spot."
I arched away from her, determined. I knew this was what they had been looking for. I doubled my efforts. "Is the carpet lifting?" questioned Braden as he went down on one knee. He used a hand to pull where I had managed to lift the edge of a perfectly cut corner in the carpet. Ah, if only I had opposing thumbs like theirs, I thought. It would have made it so much easier. Bryden continued to pull the perfect cut of carpet, which had been camouflaged before. "It's been deliberately cut." Cat leaned forward, her hair tickling my nose. I sneezed as she touched the floorboard.
"Look, there's a notch."
She pulled out the small cut piece of wood from the floor, which had been hidden from view by the carpet. Bryden reached down and pulled out the laptop. If cats could smile, I certainly did.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this chapter, consider hitting the like button. This is free and easy for you to do and helps me with the YouTube algorithms. Thank you and happy listening.